just south of the town of Yountville. So now that I've referenced a place in Napa, let me try to figure out, how many of you have been to Napa? Right, so I've got a few people that know the geography a little bit, but for those of you who are not familiar, Napa Valley is actually a little teeny tiny place. It's about 30 miles long, down where it meets the bay, the San Pablo Bay, which is an extension of the San Francisco Bay. It's pretty wide down there in those rolling Carneros hills, but as it gets up the valley, it sort of narrows a bit, and at its pinch point right up around St. Helena, it's about a half a mile across. So it's a fairly narrow and not very long valley, which produces just under 4% of all of California's fruit. So even though it may have a reputation that precedes it, it's actually quite small. And it's a little bit weird as well. Because, for all of California, our air conditioning system is that fabulous Humboldt current that comes down from Alaska, and I know we're all used to Baywatch and all that, but you don't want to go in the water in San Francisco, and it's not because of the sharks, it's because it's cold. It's really, really cold. You just don't want to be there. I do a lot of sailing on the bay, and it's the lecture that I always give everybody when they get on the boat, which is, strap on, because I've got about a half an hour to get back to you if you decide to fall off before hypothermia sets in. It's really not very fun. So it's really cold current. And the great thing about that, for not just Napa, but for Sonoma and the Anderson Valley, which is just gorgeous, Mendocino, and then going right down the coast to Monterey, the Salinas Valley, all of those valleys that grow great grapes in California have this big air conditioning system called the Humboldt current. And as the heat really warms up inland in California, that air gets pulled inland, and that cold air off the ocean mixes with warmer air and creates this beautiful fog, which in Napa comes in from the bay, not actually over from the ocean, but comes in from the San Francisco Bay at about 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. It comes in, it goes right up the valley. And then from Calistoga, it starts receding at about 9 o'clock in the morning. And by the time it gets down to Stag's Leap in Yountville, where we are at Silverado, it's about 10:30 when the fog starts to lift where we are. Which is why Mark Twain tells that famous joke that the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco, because it really is a little bit chilly. But it's perfect for grapes. It's perfect because we get we get this nice development in the skin ripeness at the same time that we can keep some acid in the fruit because of the coolness, particularly at night, and that coolness in the morning because of the fog. So that's where we are, this little teeny tiny valley that sort of sits right on top of the bay. And for Silverado, all of our vineyards are from Yountville south towards the bay. So we're really in the kind of the cooler bottom third of the Napa Valley, the cooler southern part of the Napa Valley, which is closer to San Pablo. So Ron and Diane, the first vineyard was the Miller Ranch, where the Sauvignon Blanc is, and that's just south of the town of Yountville, where Hopper Creek comes out of Yountville and meets the Napa River. So the other interesting thing about Napa is how diverse the soils are. Napa is a funny formation of three overall different types of soil formation. One is this subduction earthquake process, which tragically just happened in Japan, where the continental plate slides underneath the ocean plate in a really dramatic way and then pushes up. Thanks.
Sorry, was I supposed to?
Well, you're supposed to. Yeah, much better. Much better you than me. So that really has formed sort of the coastal hills, that subduction process, and that was about 150 million years ago. You sound like Carl Sagan. Billions and billions of years ago. The other thing, of course, is volcanic activity, and that really the sort of the crust subduction really formed our Miacamus range, which forms the western side of the valley, and then you've got the volcanics, which form the Vacas range, which is the eastern side of the valley, and then you had the ocean, which sort of came up from the south and then receded. So different kind of formations with the Micamus range. It's this Franciscan formation, which is this beautiful, rich loam, which created all these beautiful alluvial benches that we know from Oakville and Rutherford as you get further up the valley. With the Vacas, you have this terra rosa, this high iron content, kind of coppery, orangey soil that you have in Stag's Leap, where where the winery is, and on that eastern side of the valley. And then you got all this, 100 million years of dead shrimp, that kind of got washed up, through Carneros. So you've got these chalky, calciferous soils down there closer to the bay. And within that, you've got all kinds of variations. And of course, on the Miller Ranch, we have that because you've got river sand and rolled stone, and also some of the loams that are the runoffs from the western side of the valley, and some of the schist that is coming from the eastern side of the valley from the washed by the Napa River.